Okay, greetings. This is Oliver from a bunker in southeast Arleta and Mount Scott neighborhood of Portland, Oregon, People's Republic of Portland, Oregon. Don't forget, Marxism is at every corner. I just kind of wanted to chime in on some of the unfolding battle for the soul of America with this election. Um, just a couple of thoughts, that I wanted to kind of pitch in. I like to share. But first, what I'd like to do here is open with Ernest Hemingway. I don't know if you can see that, but the focus. Death in the Afternoon. Um, One of my personal favorites. I kind of read this one like I would like Sun Tzu, Art of War. Like I just in the middle, I open it and just start reading a little bit pretty regularly. It's just kind of one of the rotations that I do. It's kind of like jazz music when I'm painting. By the way, this is winter in Bend, Oregon, coming together for me in the back. But page 21, chapter 2. This is fairly in the beginning here. And what this is the last paragraph. It's talking about a bull that had killed many people. And I'm not sure where that number was at right away, but it wounded 60 and killed 16 matadors. I mean, think about that. One bull. One bull. And I just think it's kind of appropriate because, Trump really truly is the bull in the china shop. No? Yes. And people have come to kill him, one matador after another. The Clintons, the Bushes, the Obamas, the IC. I don't care what you say about him being the same as everyone else. Truly, Donnie is on the outside in many ways from these political organized crime family figures. Granted, he sent plenty of money, like millionaires will do, to everybody greasing palms. But Ernest Hemingway, Death in the Afternoon, and how this kind of connects to the election, and maybe Trump in general, kind of metaphorically. Doesn't have to be, but that's the way it feels. The bull, which killed the 16 and wounded the 60, was killed in a very odd way. One of those he had killed was a gypsy boy of about 14 years old. Afterwards, the boy's brother and sister followed the bull around, hoping perhaps to have a chance to assassinate him. When he was loaded in his cage after a copia, the bullfight. That was difficult since, being a very highly valued performer, he killed a lot. They tried to kill him and he's still standing. That's remarkable for a bull. This was difficult since, being a very highly valued performer, the bull was carefully taken care of. They followed him around for 2 years, stalking him, right? Kind of like a Hillary Clinton and her organized FBI gang, CIA comrades, following Donnie around for 3 years with a Bogarosha gate. All debunked. 3 years. That's what these brother and sister did. Grieving their dead brother who died in the ring from this bull. They followed him around for 2 years, not attempting anything, simply turning up whenever the bull was used. When the copias were being abolished, they are always being abolished and re-abolished by government order. The bull's owner decided to send him to the slaughterhouse in Valencia, for the bull was getting on in years anyway. The matadors couldn't kill him, right? They had to send him to the slaughterhouse. Still victorious, undefeated. The two gypsies were at the slaughterhouse, and the young man asked permission, since the bull had killed his brother, to kill the bull. This was granted, and he started in by digging out both the bull's eyes while the bull was in his cage and spitting carefully into the sockets after he had gorged the bull's eyeballs. Then, after killing him by severing the spinal marrow between the neck vertebrae with a dagger. Imagine what that takes. A bull that size. He experienced some difficulty in this. He asked permission to cut off the bull's testicles, which, being granted, okay, he killed your brother, you can have his balls. He and his sister built a small fire at the edge of the dusty street outside the slaughterhouse and roasted the 2 glands on sticks. And when they were done, ate them. Then they turned their backs on the slaughterhouse and went away along the road and out of town after a full belly of bull testicle, bull nuts. So anyway, Charles Hemingway, rest in peace. So, it's 11/11/2020, and I'm kind of one of those guys. I'm not really superstitious, but I do pay attention to numbers, because I know that our country and the world is at least built by Freemasons and probably governed by Freemasons. So once you get to that, you start understanding numbers a little bit better or different, or maybe we're just loons down rabbit holes. But everything goes around numbers. So 11/11, I've been thinking for a couple of weeks. I've been thinking it's also Friday the 13th. 11/11, this is a classic 9/11 kind of a false flag 11 day. I mean, these bowel shadow lurkers that really probably control the world, but at least our country, USA, they like to do things in obvious numbers. And so just a heads up on that. I've mentioned that privately to a few people, and I think even publicly. I posted today that I'd had not really a premonition or a bad dream or something like that. It wasn't like that. It was just more like, and then, so maybe this is a 48-hour or 72-hour heads up. We have Friday the 13th coming up in 2 days. So about this election, I think it's important that the Greens and third parties, independents, everybody, but the Green Party, independents step up and back election integrity and stand with the voters, regardless the red or regardless of the blue alignments, that the Greens, the independents, we stand up and back these challenges to some of this voter tabulation software like the Dominion. I was looking up the Dominion here. The Dominion voting system controls, as of September 2019, Dominion voting machines are used in 2,000 jurisdictions in 33 U.S. states. 33 is a pretty powerful number if you are following me. And Puerto Rico. The company also has over 100 municipal customers in Canada and clients in other countries. The company carries out in-house software development for its customers in the U.S., Canada, and Serbia. Out of all the curious places. Well, there's also, and I'll drop all these links into the post if I have any quality content to upload. I'm not going to just post crap. And most of my stuff is complete garbage. But the Dominion voting systems tied to Clinton's, Bill and Hillary Clinton. You guessed it. Dominion voting systems. Now, why is that? Why would we allow Democrats to control a voting system of electronic software and run it in 33 states of the United States of America? Why is that not an independent government operation? Why would we have Nancy Pelosi and her intern lobbying for it? That's what's in this article here. The Denver-based company's Dominion Democracy Suite 5.5 software was used in 69 counties in Michigan on Tuesday. 69 counties. Dominion Voting Systems is one of 3 voting equipment vendors which controls 88% of the U.S. market. So you have complete and total corporate control of a democratic cabal that determines our elections. Why is that not alarming? Why is that? Says, I love that my phone says scam likely. I love that. I don't answer any phone numbers I don't know anyways. But when the phone says scam likely, they don't mean Sam. They mean scam. So this Dominion voting systems this has got to go. And I've been reading. I'll post this as well. The Michigan legal filing from the Trump for President Incorporated. And it's got some really solid stuff in there, some great points that are made, and take a look at it, please. I think this came out today, and it's well worth a read. So this is regardless of if you're a diehard MAGA or if you have Trump derangement syndrome. I call it borderline personality Trump disorder, but regardless, it doesn't really matter what the DMS reading is on it. That this is about the integrity of elections, and it's amazing that so many Democrats forgot about or let go and then forgot about the primary they used an electronic shadow app. I mean, it was so shady that the app is actually called Shadow App. And that determined Iowa, and I think that was the turning point of old Bernie, Senator Sanders. I believe that was where the tipping point for Biden as they installed this walking cadaver. I mean, this is Frankenstein at the helm here. I mean, this guy is put together by a team of global professionals. And so, but the amount of money, Bloomberg, and this is the same article, by the way, World Tribune, I'll post it. Dominion voting system software is used in Pennsylvania, Georgia, Wisconsin, Nevada, Minnesota, and Maricopa County, Arizona. Well, lordy, people. Lordy. All of those states, in fact, the most significant, Maricopa County, Arizona, has this voting system, this computer software that flipped nearly 10,000 votes from a Republican to a Democrat. They actually had to reverse an election because this software was so inaccurate, and oops, somebody caught it, and thank God they caught that. Well, how about all the other counties that they didn't catch this Dominion voting systems malware on the software, the vote flipping? That the votes go from one candidate to the other when they voted for the original candidate. It's called vote flipping. And that's what this software has done. That's what it did. It's not just a conspiracy. The Secretary of State came out. I mean, let me see if that article's right here. Or did I lose it? I might have lost it. Well, this right here, this is the Michigan. Let me read this real quick and see if I can adjust. If I don't adjust that just for a second, after like 12 minutes, the camera will shut out on me. I don't know what the deal is. It's not really designed to do video. But this right here from cdn.donaldjtrump.com. This is the public files. And it goes in through there. It makes a bunch of arguments. There's constitutional arguments, which is valid. So if you're going to allow Democrat voters to observe and stay in and monitor and make objections to ballots, by preventing the Republican voters and the Republican watchers, the poll watchers, kind of a creepy name, but it is what it is. I mean, I've got my binoculars here from previous, because what they actually told the Republicans is the Republican poll watchers they could use binoculars. Some of them were positioned up on roofs, and the other Republicans were 20 feet, 100 feet away, and told to use binoculars and that's where they could make themselves comfortable, make some coffee, and that's where they could watch the ballots. That's absurd. I mean, it's comical. It's almost, but it's not. That's exactly what happened. Those things were said. There's plenty of video that show Republican voters being denied access in Philadelphia. Those are all over the YouTube. So again, that's not a conspiracy either. I mean, that is. Let me back up one second. I think that it's important to stop using, or this is to President Trump himself, stop using voter fraud as the crux of everything that went tits up. They got fucked up with the election. Everything because there's a whole bunch. There's like a spaghetti noodle plate of things that were not right with the vote tabulation, with the poll watchers being denied. So that's a constitutional, that's the 14th Amendment there, saying that you have to have equal right for all voters, right? So that's in here. That's in this filing, this complaint. So it says here, Wayne County used ballot tabulators that were shown to miscount votes cast for President Trump and Vice President Pence, instead count them for a Biden-Harris ticket. So this is 60. This is line 60, page 21 on the Michigan complaint that was filed. On the morning of November 4th, unofficial results posted by the Antrim County Clerk showed that Joe Biden had over 7,700 votes, 3,000 more than Donald Trump. Antrim County voted 62% in favor of President Trump in 2016. The Dominion voting systems, this is in the court filing. That's why I started mentioning the Dominion voting systems, that Pelosi and her lobbyist staffer have been pushing it, and the Clintons, with the Clinton Foundation, own a huge controlling stake in. Well, lordy, 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 what we have here is we have the Clintons, Bill and Hillary, eating the bull's nuts, right? The sweet payback and revenge of killing the 26 election and stealing it from them, right? They're eating the Don's testicles. So with their involvement, if that is true, now there is, I openly admit, there is still that direct evidence of the computer software flipping larger numbers. Why not investigate? If we have Wayne County and we have right here, it's saying, let me finish it. I'm sorry, I'm blabbing along. Which were used in, so the Dominion Voting Systems, Election Management System, and voting machines, tabulators, which were used in Antrim County, are also used in many other Michigan counties, including Wayne County. Well, why is that significant? If you don't know Michigan, I don't. I had to look it up. Michigan, there's 1.2 people in Wayne County. In Antrim County, there's 22,000. We're 6,000. 1/4 of the votes were flipped in that county from a malware software, Dominion voting software. I mean, give that a pause. Let that sink in. This is not just some wild-eyed, crazed MAGA spewing at the mouth type of conspiracy theory. I mean, we have solid evidence there. There is a filing. That is... they make some demands at the end. That is grounds to make some demands on remedy. So this is more solid. I mean, this one is actually more solid than the Pennsylvania, although the Pennsylvania is going to be very important. I mean, without Pennsylvania, it's a done deal. But this really could, if they could discard the votes that were used by this Dominion voting software that is very suspect, if they could discard that, or they've asked in the end of this, they call it a prayer, which is an interesting legal term, to call what you want a prayer in reprieve. Let me back up just one bit here. I tend to, my brain ramble. So 61, Secretary of State Mrs. Benson, released a statement blaming the county clerk for not updating certain media drives, quote unquote. But her statement failed to provide any coherent explanation of how the Dominion voting system software and vote tabulators produced such a massive miscount. Right? So what's the math on that? That Antrim County, if 6,000 were flipped out of 22,000 registered voters, 1 in 4, it's like 25%. Well, if you have 1.2, 1.4 voters, 1.2 million voters in Wayne County, 25% of that, you're talking about 400,000. Those votes are potentially compromised and flipped to the Biden-Harris campaign. So 62, line 62, Secretary Benson continued. Now this is a quote right in the Michigan court filing. Quote, after discovering the error and reporting the unofficial results, the clerk worked diligently to report correct unofficial results by reviewing the printed totals tape on each tabulator and hand entering the results for each race, for each precinct in the county. Line 63. What Secretary Benson failed to address is what would have happened if no one discovered the error. For instance, in Wayne County, where the number of registered voters is such greater than Antrim County, and where the tabulators were not individually tested. So you had this other shady night before workers that are associated with these Democrat-controlled Dominion voting system. They came in the night before and made some little fine-tuning the kinks out, if you will, huh? So they came in at night. I mean, this is almost like Watergate break-in, right? I mean, holy crap, tell me it's not. It's got Nixon-style theft all over it. The voting machines, Dominion voting systems, comes in the workers and fine-tune the machines. What are they fine-tuning? What are they doing? We'll never know, because nobody wanted to challenge anything that was controlling the gatekeepers around the polling stations, the Democrat gatekeepers that were sent there intentionally, on purpose, to gatekeep. They're handing out pamphlets how to handle GOP agitators, how to handle GOP challengers to the voting ballots. That's what they were handing out. So 63 here, 64, Wayne County used the same Dominion voting system tabulators as did Antrim County, and Wayne County tested only a single one of its voting tabulation machines before the election. The Trump campaign asked Wayne County to have an observer physically present to witness the process. See Exhibit 4. I haven't seen Exhibit 4. I'd like to see Exhibit 4. Wayne County denied the Trump campaign the opportunity to be physically present. They shut them all out. They told them, you can look with binoculars from the roof. That's where you guys go, in a duck blind with binoculars on the roof. Wayne County denied the Trump campaign the opportunity to be physically present. Repeat. Representatives of the Trump campaign did have opportunity to watch a portion of the test of a single machine by Zoom video. Right? Hey, you guys can watch this from, we got a camera in the corner from the Zoom meeting. 65. Tabulator issues occurred elsewhere in Michigan. In Oakland County, Democrat Melanie Hartman was wrongfully declared the winner of the commissioner's race by a 104 vote margin. 104. A computer issue at the Rochester Hills clerk's office caused them to double count some votes. After election officials caught the error, Republican Adam Kochendorfer was declared the winner with 1,127 more votes than Hartman. These vote tabulator failures are mechanical malfunction that under MCL 168.831, 168.839 requires a special election in the precincts affected. Now, okay, I actually think that there should be a special election and a complete statewide recount. I mean, if you have, what did they say? 60, whatever the numbers are there, I'll post the links to look through. Um, the counties, the number of counties, I mean, that were used all in Michigan. It said right here on the world. I mean, and actually switching the outcome, all for Democrats, all taking votes from Republicans and flipping them to Democrats. What's up with that? I mean, you can't deny that. I don't care how severe your Trump personality disorder is. You can't deny that that's some suspicious shit. Right? So in 2014, Dominion was listed in the Washington Post, as having donated between $25,000 and $50,000 to the Clinton Foundation. So, and this article goes on. It's talking about all kinds of exactly what I was just reading that was actually dropped into this Michigan court filing. Due to the glitches, Superior Court Judge Fletcher Sams extended voting until 11 p.m. on election night. The counties use voting machines made by Dominion voting systems, like there's an error there, and electronic poll books used to sign in voters made by No Ink. The companies uploaded something last night, which is not normal. And it caused a glitch, right? Said Marcia Ridley, election supervisor at Spalding County Board of Election. Politico reported. This is Politico referenced in the World Tribune. That glitch prevented poll workers from using the poll books to program smart cards that the voters insert into the voting machines. Ridley said that a representative from the two companies called her after poll workers began having problems with the equipment Tuesday morning. They got a call. Hey, we're having problems. What happened here? The work crew that came in late last night, nobody was here. We're getting some problems from them guys. The late night shift crew. The night shift, right? Isn't that a movie? I think Cheech Marin is in that one. So yeah, I mean, it's comical, but this is a direct assault. I mean, there's just no doubt in my mind that these are not just coincidences. This stuff happened for a reason, and this software is suspect. And just running an audit, recount, and recanvass on the same software that's controlled by the Clinton Foundation and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's crime family, it's probably going to get some of the same results. So I say expand just the counties, redo in Michigan, redo in Wisconsin, redo in Arizona, completely revote in Pennsylvania and Georgia. This is the other thing. We've got they're fighting it out for control of the Senate with a January 5th special election down in Georgia. It's all coming down to Georgia in the special election vote. They're predicting $250 billion spent because this is potentially control of the Senate. What software do they use in Georgia? Did